I'm wondering if this just might be the best group I've ever weaned.
Billy, you did so good.
Good morning. It's Monday. Ooh, and I'm stuck. This is why we have four-wheel drive. And apparently, I got a little friend today, so I'm reliving my traumatic childhood of acne. I'm not really sure what I've consumed. Oh, I know what I've consumed. A whole lot of chocolate chips. Yeah. Might be eating my emotions. Well, post-wean day 2, and it's a lot quieter. Let's go see what they're saying or not saying today. They're looking pretty chill. So that's 2 days since I moved the lambs out, and they're pretty quiet. This is kind of why I wanted to take you guys every day with me, so you could see how they progress from day to day. Now, some of their udders are quite full, and sometimes that could be why they're uncomfortable, and that's maybe why they're a little more chatty than they usually are. But for the most part, they look just chewing their cud and chilling. So her udder's quite full still. And for any of us that have had babies, all the mummies out there, this can be the worst part, is that drying off period. This might be too much information for the boys, but they hurt. So drying off's a really important stage, even on sheep. Look at that. Look at that Blackie's udder. So they get pretty engorged. So it's pretty important to really cut down on any source of energy and excess protein, just because you want her to stop producing milk. It takes about a week and you'll see those really starting to shrink down. They're not too chatty, so that means hopefully the worst is kind of over. 2 days. How's my breeding situation? A little breeding update. Let's look at some of these back ends. If you remember, I paint the back ends of all these ewes instead of putting a marking harness on the rams, because I have so many rams. It's just a lot of marking harness maintenance. So instead, I paint the tail end with paint and let the rams rub it off. So a lot of them look pretty rubbed off. That one's got virtually nothing. Nothing. A little bit, but ruffled. So that one's got basically nothing. You have absolutely nothing. You've had some fun, eh? Sure. So I'm hoping this breeding group, for being bred naturally, I'm hoping they are a pretty tight group. A lot of the breeding happens likely week 2 and 3. I'd have to double check that. But not too much action anywhere. This guy's got a, he's got a little bit of a, I don't know what that is on his chin. I don't know if it's a little bit of CL. Typically you don't see it there. You usually see it up on their neck. So whether he's just had a puncture on the manger somehow, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down. Hi, ladies. All right, I'm gonna get to doing some chores. Oh, the morning has been a little crazy. Monty had to take our loader in to get serviced, and it's about a 45-minute drive for the tractor. So I had to run and pick him up just before lunch. Just had lunch right now, and I want to take some weaning weights on those lambs that I weaned on Saturday with Carissa. It's a little more challenging to do their first time through that system, especially by yourself. So it will take me a little while. I will bring over my camera so we have some footage. I had some questions on Instagram just about you know, how long does it take those mums to start, and why are they so vocal that first couple days? Part of it absolutely is because they miss their baby and that bonding. But the other thing is they're on a diet a little bit. So it's basically like they've had an all-you-can-eat buffet for 2 months, like all they can eat, all the dessert, and I've literally just given them salad now for a week. So part of them, they're just mad, some of them, at me, because they don't like their diet. They will only be on that for a couple weeks until they dry up, so their milk production stops. As quickly as I can get that milk production to stop, the better off these ewes will be. So were they grumpy? Yes, they were grumpy for the first 2 days, but today is just the second day post-wean, so they're doing really quite well. So day 2 post-wean, pretty quiet. Really quiet. Let's go see if they figured out the water. Oh, look at the hay. They've really been mowing down. That's good. You guys figured this out? Enough to make it dirty. Lots of wool here, so they've been fighting. That's a good sign. Still trying to figure it out, I would say. Billy's got it figured out, don't you, Billy? Why don't you come to the front of the line? Oops, they got it. See how they fight? If they fight, they'll figure it out. There you go. Push. Push the nozzle. No, that's what you want, buddy. What are you doing, bud? Hmm? That one's got it figured out. So I have to set up my handling system right here. The problem with this particular pen is if I open up a gate at the far, I want to bring them in through the center alley, but if I open up that gate back there, because they're going to go out that door and back running this way, all these guys in the pen are not going to want to flow that way. They're going to want to flow this way because the traffic's going this way here. So I think what I got to do is actually get all these guys moved into the center alley this way first, even though that's the same, it's the same thing. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get these guys into the center alley, and it might be challenging, but we will see. I'll have to use a gate. went pretty good actually. Usually the first time through, they don't know what's going on and it can either be good or it can be bad. And today was pretty good. I'm never gonna admit that I might actually know what I'm doing, because that would be a lie. I actually just open this for some light. There. Much better. I know. It's not that scary. Okay, I'm just setting up on my Gallagher here. I'm setting up the actual session. So create new session. I'm gonna call it Group 1A Wean. So there'll be an A, B, and a C because I had 3 kind of separations in that group 1. And it's at 0, so it's all zeroed out. So now I'll run the lambs through and just scan their tag with the gun, which I have to hook up Bluetooth. And then it should have all the data there if I wasn't sleeping when I was recording them. Hopefully we can do this. Guys, go back in your pen, please. Let's do one. This one. That's it. Here, wait. That way. Straight ahead. Straight ahead. So what I find, the smaller a lambing group is, like I contain that first week, I contain that first week of lambs, so there's probably only a, what did I say? There's actually probably only about a 5-day spread between these lambs. And I think because it's such a small group and such a tight group, they're quite uniform. That and just, I didn't have any mums that I saw that had mastitis. Only that one runt that I think mum abandoned or aborted, or not aborted, abandoned or orphaned somehow. Got lost in the mix, or the lamb went backwards, maybe got picked up a bug and I didn't notice it until it was too late and mom gave up on it, because they do that. Other than that, so far, that first 12 have been, I think, pretty decent. One of the lambs is about 48 pounds and the rest have been well over 50, so we'll see how the rest do, but the first 12 are really good. They did really good. I can't even help. I have to go and see how those weights did. But there was a lot over 50. So I'm wondering if this just might be the best group I've ever weaned, to be honest. Both in behavior and in performance and in cuteness. I don't know, you guys. He might be a keeper.
Billy, you did so good.
I tried to take off my hat, but you do not need to be subjected to that. I sat down quick and looked at my numbers, and my gut was right. It's looking like, okay, my average weight for this group, average weaning weight, out of, I think there was 53 lambs, just a sec. Oh, 54 lambs. Out of 54 lambs, my average weight was 53.9 pounds. I think that's a record. And that's including my little runt that was a whopping 19 pounds. Beyond that one, the lightest weight was, there's a 48, a 49, a 41.5, 47.5, 44. So it's looking like the 41.5 is the next lowest. None in the 20s, none in the 30s, just that 19 and a half. It's a twin, so so its twin, something happened with that little lamb because its twin, it had an average daily gain of 0.76, so it was 57 and a half pounds. So something happened to that little one. So I'm wondering if it didn't get up to drink out of mum. And often what can happen is sheep mums are a bit different than cow mums, I've noticed. Like with a cow, you can take a calf away for a bit and they will cry and cry and cry until you bring that calf back. Sheep have a very, very short attention span. So if that lamb gets pulled away for more than, I'd say, a few hours, you get the odd one that might take it later, but on my farm, I feel like you have hours, not days, to return a lamb to a mum, and I think that one just never got up. I remember trying to feed it a bottle, and it didn't have the sucking reflex. Like it had nipple confusion. So when they're a few weeks old, it is lucky if you ever get them to take a bottle. The average of all the average daily gains overall, so this is from birth weight to today's weight, 0.7. I don't think that's that bad. They were born from December 7th to December 11th. So December 7th to December 11th. So only a 4 days, 7th, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 day stretch. So that's what I was saying this morning. So yeah, a real tight group. So I'm thinking that can really attribute to a really nice uniform flock. That second group, the one that I'm going to wean this weekend or maybe even next Monday, there's a lot more lambs in that group. And I find sometimes when there's a lot more lambs, you'll have a little bit more of that competition. So you'll have the bigger ones get bigger, the little ones the spread gets bigger. So bigger ones get bigger, smaller ones get smaller. But this is a nice group that's nice 54 nice lambs that will be the first out the door here in a month or so. Billy did really well. He was 63 pounds. I don't know if I can find him in here because I don't think I have him written down. So one of the mums fostered and she did really good. The foster baby was 60 pounds. So it gained 0.79 a day, and her own lamb, 51 and a half pounds, and it gained 0.63 a day. And that ewe is one of my original ewes. So she's 9 years old. I think I talked to you guys about her earlier. So that's pretty amazing. So she only had a single, but she fostered one. So I love her. There was a set of quads in there. Likely some of them, there was 5 bottle babies in with this group. And I forgot to put it on the report. So you guys probably want to know how those bottle babies did compared to the lambs here. So I might wait and do that all in another video when I wean that big group of bottle babies. That would be a better estimate of how those bottle babies did compared to the rest of the group. But just to give you an idea, that's pretty impressive. And very happy with that group. I hope the next 2 groups are as good. They've looked amazing. Weather has a lot to do with it. It hasn't been super, super cold when they were being born, which helped me. And then the temperatures have been kind of okay. in the fact that it's been cold enough that they're eating lots, so they're growing, warm enough that it's not really super drafty or cold. The one thing is that the one issue that I have had that I've had to work really, really hard on management is keeping them dry and bedded, because that barn does not like the swings. And guess what? This winter has been a winter of March. So it has been cold at night, kind of warm in the day, enough that it just makes a big swing, and that is the absolute worst temperature from that barn. That barn works really, really well if it's at like anywhere between 3 to 6 degrees Celsius all day, all night, or like -3 degrees all day, all night. But these swings back and forth kills it. I'm really happy with those results, and goes to show you that you need to have attention. Lambing's hard enough on its own, but never give up, because you can miss a lot if you're not paying attention in between when they're born and when they're weaned. And my goal for 2020 is to improve my livability and my performance in these lambs. I want to get more weaned, and I want to get more to market. So that's my goal. I will go over more numbers with you guys just when I have a little more time. It's getting late in the day. I'm kind of whipped, and I should probably go in the barn and make sure the ones that are in there don't need bedded. But I will definitely go over more of these numbers, because you guys have followed me through this whole lambing flock. So I really want to keep you guys posted as to how they do, because I feel like you're invested here with me. So happy Monday!